Right, Shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Ha, Rachakodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. And Shalom, Barakathon, to the elect of the nation of Israel. I want to go into some history from this book by Thomas W. Plant. It's called The Japanese, Who Are They? A little booklet by Thomas W. Plant, and it's called The Japanese, Who Are They? Now, I'm not going to say what Israelite camp it is, but they brought out this information, so I ain't going to front. I wanted to pray. I was very interested. I'm like, man, I got to buy that book. And I believe this guy here, it doesn't show no pictures of the author, but I believe he's an Edomite. They go into who the Moabites are and who the Ammonites are, which would they be the Chinese, the Japanese, the people in South Korea, North Korea, the people that live off the coast of like China or the Asia, or the Japanese right now. Now this Israelite camp, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to say their name. It's not important, but they are going off on doctrine. But if someone is speaking truth, or you know, I'm for it, you know what I'm saying. But if they're off, you know what I'm saying, like for example, you have like a Sakari, they you know, they like debating people. You know, they go debate Edomites, and they be cutting them up and be like, yeah, we agree with y'all, even though y'all off on certain things, but we agree with you on this. You know? So, all right, they're still Israelites, they're still our people, but they don't have the 100% truth. Right? So, right now, the Japanese, you know, they look like, or the Chinese, they have what you call Down syndrome. They look like they have Down syndrome. They're also, right, because it all goes back to their history, which I'm going to grab in Genesis, the 19th chapter. It starts in Genesis, the 19th chapter. Now, the Chinese, right, actually, let's do that. And I want to go into a few pages in this book. And they're going to tell you that the Chinese and the Japanese are Moabites and Ammonites. So let's go into Genesis 19. Salaki. Now this story here, the background and backdrop of this story is when Lot escaped Sodom and Gomorrah, because the Most High had destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, and he fled with his 2 daughters and his wife. And you know the story, his wife became a pillar of salt because she looked back, but his 2 daughters continued on with him, and they were in a cave. And it says here, Genesis 19, and I'll start at verse 30. And Lot went up out of Zoar and dwelt in the mountain, and his 2 daughters with him, for he feared to dwell in Zoar. And he dwelt in a cave, he and his 2 daughters. And the firstborn said unto the younger, Our father is old, and there is not a man in the earth to come in unto us after the manner of all the earth. Right, because the reason why, because they thought that there was that everybody was destroyed. That's how much damage that was done to Sodom and Gomorrah and other Abner and Zebulun. The Lord had fucked those cities up. So there's like, damn, there's nobody around to pop us, to get us pregnant. Right? So this is what they said. And the firstborn said unto the younger, Our father is old, which was Lot. And their father was Lot. Salak. And there is not a man in the earth to come in unto us after the manner of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night, and the firstborn went in and lay with her father, and he perceived not when she lay down or when she arose. And it came to pass on the morrow that the firstborn said unto the younger, Behold, I lay yesternight with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also, and go thou in, and lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night also. And the younger arose and lay with him, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. Thus were both the daughters of Lot with child by their father. And the firstborn bare a son, and called his name Moab. So that was the firstborn, Moab. So he was the older son. And the same is the father of the Moabites unto this day. Now be the Chinese, which we're going to go into. And the younger, she also bare a son, and called his name Ben Ami, which I believe it means the Ben is son. Ami is, I believe it means the people of my son, the son of my people. The same is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day. And the reason I say I don't think it gives you, because I know Bun is son. H1151. Son of my people, right? They do. Son of Lot, born to his second daughter, progenitor of the Ammonites. Also, it mentions that they're inbred. Inbred. Right, that was what you call incest now. So what happened was they had their father pop them, right? He was so drunk that he had popped his two daughters. Now, according to the law, Leviticus, that would be considered incest. So we're going to go into Leviticus chapter 18 and start at verse 5. He shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them. I am the Lord. None of you shall approach to any that is near to kin to him. So a father's not supposed to be popping his daughter. A sister is not supposed to be getting popped by her brother, right? Those that are near to kin to him. To uncover their nakedness, I am the Lord, right? And the reason why the Most High said this as well, when you go to Leviticus 18 and starting at verse 1, it says, And the Lord Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, I am the Lord your power. After the doings of the land of Egypt, right, the Egyptians were known for incest, wherein he dwelt, shall he not do? And after the doings of the land of Canaan, the Canaanites, which are Hamites, were known for incest. And the scriptures say in the Apocrypha, they were known for all types of like odious works of witchcraft. They were into witchcraft. That's why the Most High rid those Canaanites out of that land. Right, to bring us in there. Whether I bring you, shall he not do, neither shall he walk in the ordinances. And you got Jake, they want to be Egyptologists. They want to be into Chem. They want to be into the Nefertiti. They want to be into the Nimrods. They want to be into the Egyptian pharaohs. Right. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, the Egyptians, they had a lot of like 30-something dynasties, but they were wicked. They were some wicked people. They go back to Ham. They're going into slavery. Shit, those Africans. You're not an African, by the way. If you call yourself African American, you have to stop doing that. You're not African American, and you're not black. You're a Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of Judah. Those Africans sold you into slavery. But our people love the doings of Egypt. That's why the Most High wrote it down so many times in the Bible to show you, Jakes, that this is the same things that you commit to. You love thinking that you're an African or an Egyptologist or Egyptian. You love going into that stuff, worshiping the sun, looking up at the sun, and Jake is all bugged out. They're into all kind of crazy stuff. All right, so that was that. So, and that's the reason why why Ammon, the Koreans, the Japanese, the Chinese look the way they do, because it all goes back to incest. Okay, you got something called the back in the 1200s, you had a man by the name of Genghis Khan, right? He ruled over what they call the Mongolian Empire. Now, that word Mongoloid is a derogatory term used to apply to the people living in Asia. And where you get the Mongoloid, or they look like people with Down syndrome. You can look that up. I'll look it up. Mongoloid. Right? Old-fashioned term for a person with Down syndrome. So it's offensive to call someone a Mongoloid. Hey, what's up, Mongoloid? But you had an empire called the Mongolian Empire, which was one of the biggest empires ever. Mongoloid. So that's another way you could describe, identify who they are by the way they look. Incest. Right. The scriptures say that they will be pushed out east. Right. Or the scriptures talk about that. Talk about Moab and Ammon being like the men of the east, and also the kings of the east. This, what's that? Revelation 16. It talks about the kings of the east that are prepared for war, right? Because China, Japan, North Korea, they're all going to be involved in World War III. But they were pushed out east, right? The original Moabites and Ammonites, they were dark-skinned. Everybody was dark-skinned. Right, the original Moabites were dark skinned. Mesha, we believe him to be we know he's a Moabite. You had Mesha, was a Moabite king. He was a dark skinned man. Back then, the Moabites were all dark skinned, most of them. Right, you have he had like the Mesha Stele, which was I believe or created by Mesha, the king of Moab, back in like 800 and something BC. Right, you have also, we're not saying that everybody in the East, or those that call themselves Asian, or those Orientals, which Oriental means for the East, we're not saying that they're all Moabites, because you do have Israelites in and around amongst the Moabites, and I'll grab a few precepts. Also, you had here's another one. You had what's this guy? Balak, the king of Moab. They used Balaam to try to cast a stumbling block in front of the children of Israel. So these Chinese always been your enemies. Okay, the black woman has to go to the Koreans, to especially in California, you have to go to the Koreans to go get your hair product, your weave, your nails did. Your nails did. Your nails done, your nails did. They're your enemies, all right? They feed you defiled food. You got to go to the Chinese store. What they selling you? Egg foo young, pork fried rice, shrimp fried rice. They're selling you pork ribs, just some nasty, disgusting stuff. The scriptures say that the children of Israel shall eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, right? These are still your enemies. Where you got laws to protect Moabites, to protect Asians, but you don't have no law to protect you Jakes. All right, Biden passed that law back in like 2019, 2020, when a lot of these Moabites was getting fucked up by Jake. So he passed a law to protect you Moabites. But where's the law to protect the Moabites? But where is the law to protect you? There is none. Right? These are all the Chinese are your enemies. The Japanese are your enemies. Now I'm gonna grab the precept I promised to grab. Or go into what I had in mind, which is Isaiah 16:4. It says this: "Let mine outcast dwell with thee, Moab. Be thou a covert to them from the face of the spoiler," which is Esau, for the extortioner is at an end. The spoiler ceaseth, the oppressors are consumed out of the land. Now the outcast are who? The chosen of Israel. The scriptures talk about us being outcast, right? And dwell with thee, Moab. So the Lord is, you will have Israelites that look like Chinese. Among the Moabites, they look like Chinese. But the sea line is of the Father, so it doesn't matter how you look. Okay, can't forget about Ruth, the Moabite, which is written in Yahushua's genealogy. She was a Moabite, but she was used as what I call a human incubator. She was just used to bring forth seed. And eventually, from what you had Boaz, You had Boaz. You had Boaz, Obed, Jesse, David, of course, Solomon, or the line of the Hezronites or the Judites, and eventually got to Yahushai. When you read Matthew, the first chapter, they say Yahushai is a Hezronite. He comes from the tribe of Judah. All right. Right, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your mother is. It's who your father is. All right, so, oh yeah. So you have Israelites in among the Chinese, whether back then in the land of Moab or in China. Also, can't forget about the Vietnam War back in what's that, the 60s, the early 70s or 60s. You had the black men popping the Vietnamese women, but those children will be of that man. It won't be of that woman. So you are who your father is according to the Bible. Right, we've been always scattered. Let me grab this. Psalm 106. Psalm 106 and verse 20. I'll start at verse 26. Therefore he lifted up his hand against them, meaning the Most High, to overthrow them, meaning the Israelites, in the wilderness, to overthrow their seed also among the nations, and to scatter them in the lands. Also, you go into what's that, Hosea 8 and 8. So we're scattered among all nations. Tobit 13. Hosea 8 and 8. Israel is swallowed up. Now shall he be among the Gentiles as a vessel wherein is no pleasure. So there you go. Also, one more. A work in your days. This is Habakkuk chapter 1 and verse 5. And also Acts chapter 13 and verse 41. It says here, Habakkuk 1 and 5, Behold, he among the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously. Let's think about it. Let's wonder about this. For I will work a work in your days, which he will not believe, though it be told you. Now, you got a lot of Israelite camps that don't believe that you're going to have Israelites that look like other nations. They don't believe that an Israelite can act, that a so-called white person or white man or white woman or white child can actually be of the lineage of Israel. They don't believe that because what? Their outward appearance. And that's what Jake stumbles. They stumble at the outward appearance. Instead of looking and judging righteous judgments, they'll look, oh, this guy looks like he's a white man. This guy looks like he's a Chinese. This guy looks like he's a Japanese. But our people were scattered among those nations. Acts 13 and 41. Behold, right, most of these Israelite camps do not believe that Israelites will come looking like other nations. They don't believe that. Because a lot of them, you don't hear them pushing that out there. It's only us. You hear about us pushing that vibration out there. Some of these Israelite camps, or most of them, are like, nah, I don't believe that. Because they're not spiritual. No, they're not spiritual. Behold, he despises and wonder and perish. For I work a work in your days, a work which you shall in no wise believe, though a man declare it unto you. Right? So the apostles were quoting the book of Habakkuk. Because Israelites have always been scattered. Here it is. You go to, during the time of the Greek Empire, we spoke the Greek language. During the time of the Roman Empire, we spoke the Latin language. Paul was a citizen of Tarsus, Cilicia, Tarsus, or Asia Minor. You had Israelites that lived in Greece. You had Israelites that lived in Corinth. Israelites that lived in Asia Minor. Israelites that were in India. That's why we go to the books of Isaiah chapter 11. All right, but anyway, now, let me grab this, right? Once again, the book, The Japanese, Who Are They? By Thomas W. Plant, right? Now, I'm going to start from page 19, and also I'm going to grab page 24. It says this: in tracing the Japanese race back to Ben-Ami, the younger son of Lot, I have established my cause by giving you the genealogical tree of the said Ben-Ami without a break in the chain of evidence, right back to his great progenitor Shem, which they do come out of Shem, right? They're Shemites. Right? They came out of Shem. They're also called Hebrew Ammonites. They're called Hebrew Moabites. The eldest son of Noah. This pedigree, strange to say, being also that of Isaac, the son of Abraham, who is the uncle of Lot. All right, read on. By this tree worked out on the preceding page, you will see at once the Japan and China versus Ben-Ami and Moab of old are of Shemitic origin, like Isaac, their near kinsman, who also was born in the same year, 2107 Anno Mundi, which is BC, 2107 BC, to Abraham and Sarah, right? Because Abraham and Sarah were around 2122 BC. As Ben-Ami and his elder brother Moab were born to Lot in the lonely cave on the deserted mountainside near Zoar, soon after the overthrow of Sodom, or according to Japanese tradition. Damn, you see that? The Japanese tradition even tell you that. Came into existence without creation like their parents, the three first celestial deities, the Rababa, legend of history perverted by human ignorance. It must be observed at this juncture that Moab and Ben-Ami, though born of the same father, have a separate mother. Ben-Ami was already stated. Okay. I think a lot of those Japanese they have records of the flood going back to the time of Noah. They have records of the flood, right? Because what they tell you they tell you that because they're Moabites and Ammonites, which tell you, look, about the flood. The Hamites will tell you about that. These nations still have those records. So anyway, on page 24, check this one out. We venture, third paragraph, we venture to think that we have now made out a case for the identification of Japan with the children of Ammon, and to have given sufficient reasons and evidences to account for the Israelite similarities being found among the Japanese by Professor Alam. Got to check more into that. Right? Which really don't have to. Yeah. But just bring out basic information. That's it. It is useless to look in the west of Europe as some do for Moab and Ammon, when the Bible predicted that they should be sent eastward. Right? And it gives you a precept here. Isaiah 11 and 14, which I'll read. But it says, this proving of Japan to be the children of Ammon carries with it the claim that the Chinese are the children of Moab. I have a pamphlet of 40 pages by Sakana, dated 1906. It is the report of a lecture delivered at Exeter Hall, London, on December 12, 1901, and deals with the arguments drawn from history and prophecy proving that China is Moab. Whew, man. All right, so let's grab Isaiah 11 and verse 14. You got scholars, some biblical scholars say, hey, look, the Moabites don't exist no more. The Ammonites don't exist no more. The Edomites don't exist no more. But the scriptures tell you in Ecclesiastes, the 4th chapter, verse 16, in the 16th verse, that there's no end of all the people. Right? These nations are going to be serving us in the kingdom. The Chinese are going to be our slaves. The Japanese are going to be our slaves. The Africans are going to be our slaves. The Arabs, which go back to Ishmael, Yashama'Allah, they're going to be our slaves. Right? You can't escape judgment. Everyone is still here. You ain't going nowhere. You know, you die, you come back. Right? That goes for every nation. You die and you come back. Right? Your body just is a house for the spirit. That's all it is. The Lord gives you another body, but it's the same exact spirit. You're of the same bloodline. You're of the same nation of people. That's how it goes. But this Isaiah chapter 11 and verse 14. But let's start at verse 13. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim, but they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines toward the west. They shall spoil them of the east together. They shall lay their hand upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them. So, there you go. Also, that's enough for that book right here. Also, let's go into Psalm 83, right? All these nations have always conspired against you Jakes. Right? There's nothing new under the sun. You're hated. That's why they got something in China called blackface. They paint their face black, right, to mock you Jakes. But anyway, it says, and they hate you Jakes. You could be a professional NBA basketball player. They look at you like, get out of here, nigga. You don't belong in this country. You got a lot of Nigerians that live in Hong Kong, which was once called Guangzhou or Canton, China, where a lot of Jakes lived during the time of the Dark Ages. You know, because you had a lot of Jakes already in the East. A lot of Jakes were in Canton. A lot of Jakes were in southern China. Right. But you got a lot of these Nigerians that are facing hostile, you know, they're hated by the Chinese or the Moabites. They look at these Nigerians like, get out of here. You fucking all our women. You putting your seed inside these women, because the Chinese don't want that. But a lot of Nigerians are popping these. Look it up on YouTube. A lot of these Nigerians are dark-skinned men from the west coast of Africa, mulatto, dark-skinned men from the west coast of Africa. Nigerians are Israelites, by the way. They're popping these light-skinned Chinese women. What? Now these children are coming out looking like they got like some of their features. They might have a fro, but they still have like those chinky-looking eyes. But they're Israelites. See that? The how the Lord works. Yeah. And throughout generations, you might have that child. He might look like a light-skinned mulatto, you know. His mother's a Moabite, his father's an Israelite. Then he decides to one day go to the club at night when he grows up or whatever. And he finds him a nice a Moabite, you know, box, a piece of Moabite box. And, you know, he puts his bride up in her. Right, the seed comes out looking like a Moabite. You know what I'm saying? It comes out looking like different now. And over time, that's how it happens. But you're going to have Israelites that look like all nations of people. You cannot deny that. And if you want to deny that, you want to use the Mamzer, you want to go to the Mamzer thing and Deuteronomy 23 and all that, oh, go right ahead. But you're wrong, because the seed line comes from the man, right? The seed line comes from the man. It don't come from the woman. So there's no way getting around that. Even Rehoboam, his mother was an Ammonite. How about that? Rehoboam's mother was an Ammonite, because Solomon was popping heathen women. Solomon was popping Moabite women. Solomon was popping Edomite women. Solomon was popping Hamite women. Shit, Solomon even built a temple for Chemosh to sacrifice to. He was going off at the end of his reign for Chemosh, which was a god of the Moabites. And it had Malcolm or something like that, was a god of the Ammonites. They always been them Chinese have always been your enemies, but you're gonna have Israelites among them. All right. So this is Psalm 83, and let's get right to the point. For they have consulted together with one consent. Verse 5. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, which are the so-called white men, and the Ishmaelites, the Arabs, and Moab, the Chinese, and the Hagarenes, the Arabs. I believe there's a group of Arabs. Gebal, a family of the Edomites, and Ammon, Japanese, and Amalek, these gutter rats. The Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. The Africans, Ashur the Assyrians, also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. See, Lot, who are the children of Lot? Moab and Ammon. So, there you go. Also, one account, I remember the account with King David, right? That I'll read it. It's in 2 Samuel chapter 10. They've always been our enemy. when we went through the Suez Canal on our journeying in the wilderness, who came to meet us as enemy? Who confronted us? Moab, Amalek. 2 Samuel chapter 10, and I'll start at verse 1. And it came to pass after this that the king of the children of Ammon died, and Hanun his son reigned in his stead. Then said David, I will show kindness unto Hunan the son of Nahash, as his father showed kindness unto me. And David sent to comfort him by the hand of his servants for his father. And David's servants came into the land of the children of Ammon. And the princess of the children of Ammon said unto Hunan, Dear Lord, thinkest thou that David doth honor thy father, that he have sent comforters unto thee? Have not David rather sent his servants unto thee to search the city, and to spy it out, and to overthrow it? Wherefore, there's always tension between Moab, the Ammonites, and the Israelites. Wherefore Hanun took David's servants and shaved off the one half of their beards. Hey, remember that story with the young boy, I believe it was down south or the Midwest or somewhere, that he had got shot. A Moabite had shot through the window and shot the little boy, little Jake boy, in the arm. And the little boy, he was like, man, yeah, he shot me. Like, he said it like cat, like, yeah, fuck, man. You know, that's Jake for you, man. They take all that pain. Like, yeah, he shot me right in my arm. Because these Edomites, of course, but these Moabites, these Chinese, they hate you, Jakes. Right, and it says this, verse 4. Wherefore Hunan took David's servants and shaved off the one half. Hunan was an Ammonite son of Naas and king of Ammon, who dishonored David's ambassadors and lost the subsequent war with David. Right, he was a king of Ammon. Took David's servants and shaved off the one half of their beards and cut off their garments in the middle, even to their buttocks, and sent them away. When they told it unto David, he sent to meet them, because the men were greatly ashamed. And the king said, tarry at Jericho until your beards be grown, and then return. Now, a lot of these Moabites don't have a beard. Right? A lot of these Ammonites don't have a beard. They don't grow the beard. Or they get like bald heads. Right? They look like clean shaved, clean cut. Right? But David said, no, that our custom, we have a custom to keep our beards. Okay? Grow your beards. Right? That's our custom, to have a long beard. You read about what's his name? Aaron, when you go into the book of Psalms, he had a beard that flowed down. That flowed down. He had a real long beard. Now, you look at a lot of these Chinese, a lot of these Japanese, they don't have no beards. They don't have no beards. They're bald head. Right? But it's a custom. It's one of our customs to have a beard. It's, in the Compact Bible Dictionary, it tells you it's actually, I'll get it. Right, under beard, B, where you at? It says here from page 72, it says, under beard, a badge of manly dignity. As a sign of mourning, it was the custom to pluck it out or cut it off. The Israelites were forbidden to shave off the corners of their beards, probably because it was regarded as a heathenish sign. Leviticus 19:27, right? So you're supposed to grow your beards. You're not supposed to round your beards. You're not supposed to get pencil liner, shape ups on your beard. And the Lord see all that. The Lord see all that. You got men with pencil, you got tight ass fades. You know, you got tight ass face and weird looking ass haircuts, and niggas want to buck up saying, where's that? Where's that? Well, it's a heathenistic custom. It's heathenistic. We ain't have time to be trying to look all good, getting Caesars, going to the barbershop. Pass me some Grey Poupon. Shaping they shit up like that. No, you ain't supposed to get no shape up. Fucking dreadlocks and all that shit is off. Long ass hair. Niggas buck up. Niggas will throw up a curse on. Oh, yo, he told me to cut my hair off. Yo, let's throw up a curse on him. I don't like him because he's trying to correct me and trying to be a brother. You got a lot of men are off, man. A lot of men are off in the spirit. They might appear to look like they seem brotherly and all that, but they're off in the spirit. Right? Just pray and hope, you know, pray and hope you brothers repent. You know, every brother got something to work on. You know, every brother got something to work on, but certain men don't like taking correction. They want to buck up and start acting all emotional, little. That American Israelite spirit is on a lot of these brothers, man. That American Israelite spirit, that's what I mean by that soft ass spirit, that King's Court type spirit, that soft ass and feminist spirit, man. It's on a lot of you men, yo. But anyway, right. You also had oh yeah, how David set up had these Moabites in servitude. They're gonna be serving us in the kingdom. David, when you go into 2 Samuel, the 8th chapter, David, actually, let's grab it. Made these Moabites tributaries. It says here, 2 Samuel chapter 8 and verse 2. And he smote Moab and measured them with a line, casting them down to the ground. Even with 2 lines measured he to put to death, and with 1 full line to keep alive. And so the Moabites became David's servants and brought gifts. Hey, look, they're going to be doing that in the kingdom. Instead of bringing you, feeding you, you know, we're going to have these heathens cook for us. You know what I'm saying? Why not? You know, have these heathens cook for us. They're not going to be cooking no pork fried rice and no egg foo young, or pork lo mein, or whatever they call that shit. They're going to be bringing us the gold, the silver, all the beautiful animals in the kingdom. We're going to run this earth. See, now it's far-fetched. Our people don't believe that that's possible. But these things are already written, that these nations and the forces of the Gentiles shall be converted unto us. Okay, that's going to be in the kingdom. Everybody going to come to serve us. Okay, that's what the throne of David is. Everybody serving us. Us sitting on our thrones. Man, look, if you don't do this, we're going to beat you over the head with a rod of iron. Bang! Pop! Right? These heathens are going to have to follow the laws in the kingdom. So Moab is written all throughout the Bible too. Moab, like I mentioned the Mesha Stele. All right, that was a Moabite king, that Mesha, that came around like the 8th century or 9th century BC. Right, he was mad because he avenged himself or whatever. He was mad because King David, prior to that, and Solomon, King David and them, we conquered him. We had him in subjection. So he thought, look, I'm going to take revenge on these Israelites, and I'm going to get them back. And they have. Look what's happening to Jakes now. They got you back. They got you back. They over you. They're the head and we're the tail. So right. Any more precepts I want to bring out? Psalm 108 and 9. Psalm 108 and verse 9. Moab is my wash pot. Over Edom will I cast out my shoe. Over Philistia will I triumph. Nothing changed, man. They're still our enemies from the Old to the New Testament. Ain't no heathens can be grafted back in. You know, ain't no heathen can be grafted into something you were never a part of. You're not a part of the same tree. You're not a part of the same stock, the same root. So how the hell can you be grafted into something or someone you were never a part of or belong to. So, right, Moab is my wash base. Hey, look, a lot of these Moabites on laundromats. Right, a lot of these Moabites on laundromats. You know, these things are spiritual now. Edom might be like, oh, because they own laundromat? What the hell is he talking about? Because these people are not spiritual. They're not spiritual. It's like when you mention spiritual Sodom and Egypt, they think it's talking about the physical land of Egypt because they're not spiritual. All right. But I know I left a few things out. There's the Boxers Rebellion. That happened, when was that? The Boxer Rebellion, around the 1900s. You had a group of Christians or Israelites that were being persecuted or something like that. The Boxers Rebellion in China, northern China. Boxers Rebellion. Right, it says the Boxer Rebellion, excuse me, October 1899, it lasted until September 7th, 1901. The Boxer Rebellion, also known as the Boxer Uprising, the Boxer Insurrection, or the Yaohingtuan Movement, was an anti-foreign, anti-colonial, and anti-Christian uprising in China between 1899 and 1901, toward the end of the Qing dynasty. By the Society of Righteous and Harmonious Fist, the rebels were known as the Boxers in English because many of its members had practiced Chinese martial arts. Yeah, you had Israelites in what they call that over there in Japan? Oh man, what they call that shit? I know Chinese martial arts, right? But in Japan they call it something else too, as well. Something, but which at the time were referred to as Chinese boxing. All right, so it goes on to tell you, and that ties in with Isaiah 16:4. The face of the spoiler, which is Esau, Edom. So they tell you in this book that the Chinese go back to Moab and the Japanese go back to Ammon. They tell you that. Right, and this book was, how much was this book? $19, something like that. I forget how much I paid for it. But, right, and they going into slavery. All right, but with that, shalom.